Is this my imagination, or is something really happening here? All across our nation, people rejecting the use of fear, excusing tyranny for reason, or protection from an enemy is wrong. If you want peace and freedom, you gotta take a good look at Hong Kong. We got to make a change for the better. It's already way too late. That's the fact that never. This journey not a road to
Germany? What do you want? What are you Okay, you can't have a political event without at least one speech.
Tonight you get two.
My name is Roy Miller. I'm an independent marketing consultant up in Phoenix. I retired from Wells Fargo Bank a few years ago, and I'm a volunteer for Ron Paul, like many of you here. They gave me a title. I'm co-chairman along with Senator Karen Johnson for Arizona. But as I think you've all gathered, that's pretty meaningless because the Ron Paul groundswell is not organized. It's spontaneous, just like this group tonight. So I've been involved in a lot of campaigns. I came here when I was an Air Force pilot at Williams Air Force Base 40 years ago from Minnesota. Lifelong Republican, and spent a lot of time in young Republican activism when I was young, back in the 60s and 70s. And since then, have been involved in a lot of organizations that are basically libertarian, like the Cato Institute, the Reason Foundation. I was one of the founders of the Goldwater Institute here 18 years ago in Arizona. So I've got a libertarian group that meets once a month for dinner that we started, a friend of mine and I started 26 years ago. So a lot of things to try to promote the cause, but that's what you all are doing, and I don't know that there's any, well, I know there isn't any one way to do it. There's lots of different ways to do it. So I really appreciate your efforts, and I appreciate, where's our host tonight? Thank you,
Blake.
Blake. Thank you for opening your home, and I understand several of you were responsible for beating the bushes and getting people out, so thank you all of you who helped to do that. This is the way this campaign is growing. We had an event last night in Phoenix. For those of you that are longtime Arizonans, there's a place at the Esplanade called Nixon's, which, as you might suspect, is kind of a political gathering place. And we were able last night to get Ron Paul to call in, although I don't think we're going to be able to do it tonight because of the plane schedules.
That's fine. We love him anyway.
So I know you do. And if you have been following the internet, you probably know that Barry Goldwater has Barry Goldwater Jr. Although now that his father's died, he isn't really junior anymore. But Barry Goldwater is supporting Ron Paul.
Yes.
And
Excuse me for a minute. I'd like to make a toast for I actually want to thank for having such a wonderful man running for president.
Oh, absolutely.
Amen.
Yes.
I want to thank you, Ron Paul, for being the person in 2008.
Thank you, Ron
You're
Paul.
here.
I'll second.
You're here. Well, I'll just take 1 minute because you've all got various reasons for coming to the point that you've come to support Ron Paul. And in my own case, I started reading some of the free market people back when I was still an Air Force pilot in the 60s and early 70s, actually in the 60s. Started reading Ayn Rand, all of her novels, and then that brought me to Friedrich Hayek and Milton Friedman and Rose Wilder Lane and on and on and on. And so I've been a devotee of the cause of liberty ever since then. And I met Ron. One of the other groups I'm involved with is called the Republican Liberty Caucus, which is kind of a, a libertarian-leaning Republican group. It's not very large, but Ron was the head of it while he was out of Congress for a few years. So I got to know him then about 20 years ago, and then I supported him when he ran for president as a libertarian in 1988. And so I've had the good fortune to know him for a long time, and what a wonderful guy. For those of you that haven't had the pleasure to meet him in person, he is just as genuine and nice in person as he appears on the videos, which many of you probably looked at. He's just a wonderful guy. And from that point on, I've just tried to be involved in anything that promotes the cause of liberty. And I think right now, the Ron Paul campaign is the best way to be involved in promoting the cause of liberty. So thank you all. And this campaign is just fun. I mean, I've been involved in a lot of political campaigns for the last 40 years I've been in Arizona. And they've all been a little bit stodgy, a little bit bureaucratic. This is spontaneous. I mean, this is just fun, and I'm sure you all agree with that. Yeah. So anyway, enough of that. Thank you for coming. Andre is our executive director for Arizona, and he's going to try to bring you up to date on some of the practical things of what you need to do.
Thank you, Roy. Thank you, Andre.
I'd like to start again by thanking everybody for coming. A couple quick questions. Who here is not in the meetup group? Because I think we have some new faces and friends. Is everybody, Andre and Steve? Great, excellent. That are not in the meetup group.
Somebody heard of the meetup group.
Okay.
He's not in the meetup group.
Okay, he's not in the meetup group. Okay.
We have an initiation.
Would ask.
Can we go Ron Paul Tucson?
Yeah, we got it. Oh, yeah.
Google's free, you'll get there. Yeah.
RonPaulTucson.com.
Yeah. And if you ever have any questions, you just give us a call. So if you could do that, that'll just facilitate. So what are you going to be doing? You're either going to canvass by foot or by phone. That's going door to door, knocking on the door, introducing yourself, saying, "Hi, I'm Andre with Republican presidential candidate for Ron Paul." If at the very least they slam the door right then, you at least said hello, identified yourself, and told them why you're there, that there's a guy named Ron Paul running for president on the Republican ticket.
Thank you.
When they hand it, if they don't take it, the next person that talks loses. So just hold it there, okay? And if they don't take it, but they don't close the door and slam it, then you can start talking again. But if you hold it and they don't say anything, you start talking, you're going to lose them, okay?
This is a violation of my Walmart rights.